I cleaned the chimney in there last year and had to get on the roof and knock a plug about this wide out down through the chimney because jackdaws, twigs and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
which they do.
A blockage in the chimney may be sending the smoke back into the room.
You all right, Alex?
Yep, I'm good.
How's it going with our little volunteer?
Yeah, he's looking ripe and ready for it.
To sweep it, Alex has a cunning plan.
One of the traditional ways with which to clean your chimney out was with chicken. And what you do, get him here, and you literally stuff him down the chimney. And what he does is he tries to flap up the chimney, to fly up the chimney, and in doing so, his claws scratch the inside of the flue and bring down all the soot with him. But I've got to be honest, I really can't bear to do it to the little fella because he's so gorgeous. So I'm just going to let him get about his business. And we're going to go for plan B.
What went wrong with plan A?
Lack of volunteers.
Plan B involves Holly rather than a chicken to clean the chimney.
OK.
Right,
OK.
we're ready.
Ends in. Start hauling.
Pull it up.
Here we go.
This is a really old method of cleaning chimneys. Goes back to the medieval period. Stuff a holly bush down.
There's loads coming down just as you pull it up. Don't pull him off.
I'm not pulling him off.
Yeah.
You can pull it back down now then, Peter.
OK, pulling away.
Yeah, I see. He's the man with the muscles.
How's it going?
Work to treat. I think we've doubled the size of the chimney.
At the farm, the most pressing concern is neutralising the acidic soil with quicklime. 10 tons of it. Quicklime was a wonder material of the Edwardian age. Not only was it used in farming, but it was the basis of cement and plaster. It's made by heating limestone, essentially chalk, to over 900 degrees in a kiln.
Our first bit of lime.
Something almost every Edwardian town would have had.
These are the raw materials for our lime burn. We've got the limestone here and the coal, all brought in by barge. Most effective way to bring it in. So now we've got the raw materials, Peter, we just have to find ourselves a kiln.
So here's our lime kiln then.
Anthony's brought the boys to the kilns at Morwellham Quay.
It's one of two, and they actually probably were being used up until the Edwardian period. Limestone brought up from quarries from Oreston on the outskirts of Plymouth, all built over now, and coal from South Wales. And to make quicklime, which is what you need for your fields, you basically burn layers of limestone with coal, right. And it converts the limestone into this stuff called quicklime, the lump lime, quite small pieces, which you can then pull out from the bottom, and that's what you then spread on your fields.
Well, Mr. Mudge reckons we need approximately 10 tonnes of lump lime to go on our fields.
Well, do we need to measure it and find out exactly how much this is going to make then?
I think we should.
Because we could end up with heaps of it all over the place, and goodness knows what we're going to do with it then.
Rather than a little bit extra.
Yes, yes.
At the cottage, it's the moment of truth.
Here we go. That's it. Crackle, baby, crackle. Oh, I can see the smoke going sideways. That's a good sign. That is warm already. That's how it's supposed to be. On the continent by the Edwardian period, people were abandoning coal cooking like nobody's business, moving over to the new gas. But here, we hung on to ranges a lot longer. So they were still manufacturing them right up until the end of the 1930s. I wonder if you can see it going up the chimney if I have a look in this inspection. Yeah, you can. Zooming up there. Look at the drawer on that.
Measuring the kiln is proving to be a mathematical challenge.
5 times 5 is 25.
Yeah.
Times by pi, what's pi? 3.14?
Make it 3.
OK, 75. times that by the depth.
How are we going to work out the depth?
If you hold one end and abseil down...
So, 20 times 75, that's 2 times 750. 1,500. That's cubic feet. How many tons is that?
I've no idea.
That's over 50 tons of quicklime. They need just 10.
It's highly caustic stuff, Peter. A ton of it is bad enough, and you want 50 tons of it.
Okay.
It's the end of the first week on the Edwardian farm, and already the challenges are mounting up.
We're next to one of the world's biggest granite deposits, which means the entirety of the soil around here is going to be acidic. So we're going to have to do something to combat that.
We're to stand any chance of growing anything in it, we're going to need a whole load of lime.
Quicklime. They do have the lime kilns down here.
Yeah, exactly. We're right next to a set of lime kilns.
Well, I think those are a little bit too big.
Is the worm turning?
No, the
Ruth,
worm
when
is
Peter
not.
first clapped eyes on these lime kilns, right? He was like, we're going to do a burn. We're going to do a burn. His eyes lit up. And I'm like, Peter, what's the tonnage?
Well, there's a critical mass, you see. So you can't
just do a teeny bit, yeah.
So if we're going to do 3/4 full, we're looking at 45 tonne of lime to 10 tonnes of coal to 12 feet of wood.
Well, I was going to say I could do with some lime, but I don't think I need that much.
So you're sort of backing out, Peter, here?
I think we probably end up doing a smaller kiln, just because of the amount of lime we actually need.
In Edwardian times, there were thousands of lime kilns across Britain. Now there's just a handful, so finding a smaller kiln that's still working isn't going to be easy. Until they get some lime, their arable project's on hold. So the farmers turn their attention to livestock.
Go on, girls. Go on.
Local farmer Matthew Cole is delivering an Edward...
Stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Make. Good dogs, good dogs.
Go. Lovely looking animals.
Yes. Yeah. And these are white-faced Dartmoors.
Right.
These sheep have been on these hills for centuries.
They look quite small.
Yeah, they are hill sheep.
Right.
They've evolved on Dartmoor, which is a large granite outcrop. The wind blows and the rain comes down, and these girls have evolved to cope with that. As a result, their body size isn't that big, but they make good use of the rough forage and what's available to them. Really, they've evolved for the area.
And are they bred just for their meats, or...?
These would probably have been one of the first dual-purpose animals. Not only do they grow a good heavy fleece, but the meat is also of very high quality. They call it angel meat. It's that
angel meat.
Angel meat. It's that tasty.
Great. Well, they're certainly settling in.
Thank you very much for bringing them down.
Thanks ever so much for bringing them down. And Meg, thank you, Meg, as well.
She did the hard work.
Yeah.
Crucial to the success of their sheep enterprise will be keeping them well fed over winter. In Edwardian times, this river was the only way to deliver heavy cargo into Moor Wellham, deep in the Tamar Valley.
This is our first consignment of hay. We'll need plenty to keep our cattle and our sheep fed throughout the winter. Unfortunately, in the Edwardian period, it came ready baled. So we've got a nice empty hayloft to get filled up, and we should nearly be there for our winter feed.
Today, the only Tamar barge that's fully operational is this one, the Shamrock, skippered by Peter Allington.
It's really funny, isn't it? You sort of look at a sailing barge with no engines and you think, oh, really out of date by the Edwardian period. But that's just not true, is it? An awful lot of sailing barges were still in use.
I think the barge skipper relied on three things: wind power, muscle power and tidal power, or probably a combination of several of them.
Apart from the railway, which of course is several miles that way, getting anything in or out of this valley, this is really the only way to do it, isn't it?
Particularly with any bulk cargo.
Yeah.
If you're talking of Morwell Ham, people immediately think of copper ore.
Yeah.
But you could have barges bringing in coal. Some of the coasting schooners that came up here, you know, they came as far away as Russia with timber, so...
Yeah, that's an interesting thought too, isn't it? This is an international link.
Yes.
Yeah, this is not some little backwater. This is really connected.
Having taken delivery of the hay, it must be stored in a dry place.
Climb up there, mate. Right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Lovely job. It seemed a lot coming off the boat, but now we've got it here. Doesn't seem that much.
This isn't going to last us though, is it, Peter, throughout the winter? And this hayloft is desperately small, so we're going to have to see, firstly, if we can source ourselves some hay locally, and secondly, have to find some way of storing it outside.
Alex is consulting their Edwardian farming manual on how to store hay outside. It recommends building a hay rick.
So we managed to acquire the most up-to-date version of the Book of the Farm to help us through the year. And I'm just looking at some of the hay ricks, or hay stacks as it's called here. I'm quite interested in the shape of this one, which is very much what we're trying to achieve.
To keep the hay dry, it advises that the rick is thatched.
Lucky we found these old timbers, Peter. Yeah, they'll do just the job for our rack, with which to build our rick.
But rain's not the only obstacle they have to overcome. There's also vermin. The solution is to build it off the ground, on staddle stones.
The design of this stone, and this goes back hundreds of years, is so designed essentially so that rats, they climb up to here to get into your corn, and of course they just can't get over the edge. Okay, so it stops vermin, at least mammals anyway, getting into your corn.
The boys have bought some more hay from a local farm. They need to build the rick before the wet weather sets in.
Well, we better start getting this on the rick. If the hay gets damp, indeed if it gets saturated and we can't dry it out, it's quite simple, it rots. It loses all of its nutritional value. So it's next to useless. So that's a disaster. This is going to be like the best part of a week's work, if not more.
Yeah, but it's going to feed our livestock for how long? Several months? It's going to be worth it in the end, Alex.
As well as hay, the livestock will also need grain. In Devon, farmers would have used granite troughs to keep the feed off the ground and prevent it being contaminated by animal excrement. In Edwardian times, they were hand-carved by the inmates of Dartmoor prison. Peter's come to see stonemason Ian Piper at a quarry on Bodmin Moor.
Hello, Peter.
Hi, Ian.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
You too. You too.
You doing all right?
Very well, thank you.
The first job is to choose a suitable piece of granite.
I mean, you didn't want it too large, did you?
No, not too large.
So I mean, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to cut it down through there. So we're going to drill holes right around there and down that side and split it down.
Ian's using an Edwardian pneumatic crane to lift the granite block from the quarry. It's a tense moment. This crane hasn't been used in half a century.
Seems to be working.
Now the stone must be cut down to size.
And this is one of the hardest rocks in the world, and it is one of the most amazing building materials. But there is a grain in it, so you can't just chop it any way. It's going to be quite interesting to see how they do this.
Granite